BP Chief Executive Tony Hayward will take the hot seat on Capitol Hill today, 59 days after the rig explosion in the Gulf. He will testify before the House Energy and Commerce Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations. And we have subcommittee member Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn joins us now. It's great to have you on today, Representative. And there's so many different facets to talking about this. The Hayward testimony will be interesting, but I also want to get your take on the response of BP and the government to what happened. But what do we need to find out from Tony Hayward, and are you optimistic that he's going to be forthcoming?
My hope is that he will be forthcoming and that we can bring some transparency to what transpired, not only with BP, but with Halliburton and Transocean and the other subcontractors that were involved and have been a part of the Deepwater Horizon project. I think that's important for us. You know, one of the things that the president could have done early on and should have done on day one is to state what the division of labor is, and that is part of his responsibility to us as the commander-in-chief. And he should have said, BP, you caused this. You are responsible for plugging that hole. Get busy. The federal government, federal agencies, you are responsible for this cleanup. It's in federal waters. Let's get busy. Governors, mayors, you have all of our resources at your disposal. Let us know how to help you. Let us work with you. And Congress, figure out what happened, and then let's make sure this never happens again. There are lessons to be learned, and certainly there are policies that are going to need to be changed. So we're late into this process from that regard, from beginning to look at a division of labor. Certainly the House has had hearings before, but as we bring Mr. Hayward forward today to the committee to go through the hearing, my hope is that we're going to begin to be able to look more completely at a timeline, at a project work line, and where they are right now, and what the steps forward are going to be to make certain that this leak is stopped, that it is cleaned up, and that BP pays the bill.
Yesterday, a lot of things happened, and I guess some of them you'd have to view as positive, in that the BP did accept responsibility.
Correct.
And even though some people question whether you could have actually enforced it through the courts, the $20 billion escrow account, they did agree to that. Is that fully a positive in your view, or does it set a precedent for, private sector, public sector, sort of kowtowing to governments?
Right, and I think you're referencing the manner in which the president approached this and the way he went about with the demand. But see, this gets to how the president approaches crisis. In one instance, he has the tendency to ignore it, which is what happened with my state of Tennessee and the floods.
That's fresh in your mind. That's fresh in your mind in Tennessee, yes.
That's right. And then the other is to place blame. And what we need a commander to do is show leadership and say, I'm going to build a team to address this problem. Now, we know that BP was already compensating some people, but was doing it far too slowly. So what we will want to look at is what that fund is. And I'll tell you something else, that as we look at how this fund is going to be used, it is of concern to me when you see Carol Browner talking about the sludge fund and how she intends for the sludge fund to be used. What we want to make certain is that these communities and those individuals on the Gulf are taken care of, that these marshlands and these estuaries are cleaned up, that these beaches are cleaned, that that leak is plugged. And those need to be item number one. The people of this region need to be made whole.
Congresswoman, I'm sorry, what did Carol Browner say about those funds?
Well, she was just referencing the sludge fund and using the sludge fund. This is not to be a government fund. We need to look at addressing this situation first and foremost and stopping the leak making certain that the waters, the beaches, the estuaries are clean, the federal waters are clean, but also that all of this region of the Gulf that has been impacted, that this is cleaned up. I think that Governor Jindal has done a great job leading and showing a sense of determination and standing with and standing for the people of Louisiana as they have worked through this. We're also seeing Governor Riley, Governor Barber beginning to move forward and take the precautions that are necessary there. But again, you get back to on day one, it would have been a preferred action for the president to have stepped forward as the commander and have said, this is the team we're pulling together, and we are going to address this. You know, I've been to the Houma, Louisiana Incident Command Site, and there are 5 incident command sites and 7 forward operating bases is the term that they're using for them. And even though we have thousands of federal employees and thousands of BP employees working on this, a command center is only going to be as good as the command and the commander. And laying out what that process is going to be, I think we're late to that.
All right, well, maybe you can report back to us on what you hear today, Congressman.
I'll be happy to.
I appreciate your time this morning.
Got my list of questions. Thank you.
Very good. All right, in the next hour, we're going to